Hello and welcome to today's Man Machine Alert. Today we're going to be talking about a tablet that was just recently published by Gershon Galil. Now, Gershon Galil is famous recently for his translation of the Mount Ebal Amulet and the controversy that's surrounding that amulet. Now, I think today's translation that he just recently published in the newspapers is no less controversial, and we're going to discuss the problem with it and how it relates back to the Mount Ebal Amulet. So we're gonna involve my producer here with the discussion, and we're going to just get into this Man Machine Alert. Okay, so here's the context of today's Man Machine Alert, which is Gershon Galil just published in the newspapers, announced basically a press release, basically saying that he took a tablet that was found in Jerusalem, a stone tablet, and he translates it. Okay? Now that's not the controversial bit. The controversial bit is what he's translated it into. Now, I'm going to put up on the screen here in a moment both translations side by side. Okay. The translation of the Ebal Amulet, the little small 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter lead amulet that was found at Mount Ebal, that now, because thanks to Associates for Biblical Research's controversial dating of this, is now ping-ponging between, say, late bronze 1B and late bronze 2B. Okay? But Galil has translated that cursed, 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 cursed by God Yahoo, you will die cursed, cursed you will surely die, cursed by Yahoo, cursed, cursed, cursed. Okay, so that's his translation of the Ebal Amulet. Now, this stone stele that dates to late bronze 2B in Jerusalem, so this is a Jebusite tablet, he translates it, cursed, cursed, you will surely die. Cursed, cursed, you will surely die. Governor of the city, you will surely die. Cursed, you will surely die. Cursed, you will surely die. Cursed, you will surely die.
So the cursed tablets aren't terribly original.
Well, that's the rub here, isn't it? A curse amulet. Okay, lead amulets, well known for curses. Very common, especially in the Hellenistic period and the Common Era. These Greek curse amulets, exceptionally common. Curse tablets, not so common. Very rare.
And the tablet would have been publicly displayed.
Exactly.
Something curses are rarely done. Curses tend to be hidden.
Exactly. This is the problem, is that tablet would have been mounted to a wall and put on public display. If this was really a curse against a governor of a city, there would be some inevitable backlash here.
Well, the governor would have done some backlash.
Exactly.
You see, you're a public figure. You see a curse to you mounted on a public wall. Yeah, it'd be the equivalent of graffiti. They would immediately find out who did it and punish them.
Yeah. Now we have to understand that Jerusalem, is a city-state. This is in effect a curse against the king. The king of Salem. In late bronze 2, you're talking the Jebusite city of Jerusalem. It's a city-state. The king resides in Salem. He's the guy in charge. Now you're mounting a curse tablet on a wall? The king? That's not going to fly. That's just not going to fly. However, this is assuming that this translation is correct. And this the epigraphy done here was correct. There's good reason to suspect it wasn't done correct. First of all, his translation of the Jerusalem tablet and the Ebal tablet are exceptionally similar. This is an uncanny coincidence, almost defying the laws of probability, that you would have two curses on two different media from two
radically different
places and contexts that say virtually the same thing. One would suspect that there is some confirmation bias happening here. He's reading what he wants into the texts. Already, the Israeli Antiquities Authority has basically suggested extreme caution with accepting the results. They're suspicious. Okay? They're suspicious. I think scholars are suspicious. I think everybody is suspicious of not just now the Jerusalem tablet, but also the translation of the Ebal tablet as well. Now, let's kind of go... We don't want to talk too much about motives. But there is a reason why a researcher might want to have in his back pocket a similar translation of something.
He's going for confirmation of his first find, and instead what you're saying is he's created a question of confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Doing the opposite of what he hoped to do.
Yeah.
If that's what he hoped to do.
Yeah. If you have a curse amulet already that says something similar, and you then come up with another curse tablet, yeah, you're comparing apples to apples. You've got another finding from another context that confirms your context. So you do want to find that as a researcher. That's actually a laudable thing. But to find one 2 weeks, publish one 2 weeks after your previous controversial finding? Ooh.
That's pretty nice luck.
That's incredible luck. The guy should be playing the lottery. That's the sort of luck that wins you millions at the lottery. That's not the sort of luck you normally find in the archaeological field.
Yeah, you usually find one find and your whole life for the second.
Exactly.
Yeah, we found things early on in their lives and expected, oh, I'll go and become an archaeologist because mom and dad found this really cool thing. I have a picture on it on my door at my seminary. And he's never found anything himself because it usually works once.
It works once, typically, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reason to doubt now both sets of epigraphy. And there's even another more tangible reason to doubt both at this point, which is if this Jerusalem tablet is correct, and this is Canaanite, then if this is a similar translation, a similar text to the Ebal tablet,
that means the Ebal
amulet is not distinctly Hebrew. Now, it still could be Hebrew, but you can no longer then make the claim that it is distinctly Hebrew because you've now found something that dates to late Bronze II, 2B actually, that looks remarkably in epigraphy and in spelling to the Ebal Amulet.
So what you're saying, instead of confirmation, this, even if it is a correct translation, would cast serious doubt on the origin.
Exactly. Put serious doubt on the origin of the Ebal Amulet. Frankly, it surely shoots to Hades the whole idea that the Ebal Amulet dates to late Bronze 1B. Because the epigraphy is similar.
So why would he release 2 weeks if this can cast such serious... I mean, it's reasonable doubt then. It's not people just disagreeing with their opinion and saying, hey, wait a minute, we need to slow down on this.
You can't ever understand why somebody does this. I don't know if he's just wants to commit professional suicide.
That's just not the case.
Generally not the case.
He's convinced his confirmation more reasonable.
I think it is more reasonable to assume that he has it's a form of confirmation bias. Okay? Or he's setting the stage to something else. But I think this is
that all falls under speculation.
It all falls under speculation. Now, there's a chance he could be right on both the translations.
It could
1 in a million.
That, this is just how people get things. The more times you use the word curse, I mean, the first translation, that number of curse seemed a bit repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're really mad at somebody, I guess they didn't have all caps in the day and age, so they just repeated the word.
Well, lightning can strike twice.
True.
Lightning can strike, as improbable as it is, it can strike twice.
And it can hit a human being more than once.
And it can hit a human being more than once. Okay? However, the odds are very small.
But if you're that one guy, it really stunk.
Now, in the case of the Ebal Amulet, we would actually expect it to be a curse of some kind, just because of the nature of the medium.
Yes.
Okay? So in the case of the Ebal Amulet, that's what we would expect. We would expect that to be a curse amulet of some kind. So, in a sense, if you're reading a curse off of that, that's not surprising.
High probability.
It's a high probability. Okay? What exactly is being read as that curse is, again, that's a controversial thing. The epigraphy on that amulet is not clear. There's only 2 clear letters as far as I was able to see from my photographs of the amulet. Now, I understand that the RTI scans have not been released. The raw data has not been released, even still. So it's hard to say anything more than that. What is surprising is that we have a curse on a stela. We find curses, for example, on, say, figurines. These are the so-called execration texts, where a figurine is made, a curse is written on it, and then it's smashed. And this was a typical way to enact a curse. Was you might write a curse on a jar, and then you smash it.
And the smashing activates it.
And the smashing activates it. It's an execration text.
Also a good way of hiding the evidence.
Yeah.
Working that into part of the process. That was pretty wise on whoever figured that out, but...
However, on a stela, very rare, very unusual, because stelas are monuments. They're monuments. They're monuments to usually glorify a deity or recognize an accomplishment you're quite literally carving it into stone for all generations.
And wiping that out is usually erasing it, literally, uncarving it.
Yeah.
Which is why they developed the deeper carving.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons to be really, really suspicious of this second translation. But because the second translation is so suspicious, it also places doubt on the first.
Why would they need to do something dubious to confirm the first?
Exactly.
If the first has the strength that they're claiming.
Yeah. Yeah, if the first inscription is such a strong slam dunk case, why do you need to do something dubious for your supporting material? There's something really hinky here.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag, yeah.
Red flags are not, this is wrong.
Yeah.
A red flag is like, let's stop, take a moment, and really consider this before we get really excited about either one.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with biblical archaeology, is people are so intent to prove the Bible.
Yeah.
I was told from my pulpit that Ron Wyatt was true biblical archaeology, and we had found a wheel at the bottom of the Reed Sea, except it was Red Sea at the time. Sorry, that's comes from living with somebody who knows what they're talking about. And, you know, I love the story of Golgotha and the Ark of the Covenant being underneath Golgotha and Jesus' blood dripping on the mercy seat. Oh man, I love that. That was so exciting. It just didn't turn out to be true.
Yeah. And we do have a propensity to want to cling to the fantastic. This is a problem. This is a systemic problem, you know, amongst evangelicals who are desperate for proof for their faith.
Yeah.
The fact is, there's good evidence out there if we are patient.
It just isn't sensational.
It's not sensational. It does not come in bursts. You know, archaeology is a slow process.
Yeah. I think it would be good for the listeners. Repeat again what the find at Mount Ebal actually is.
Okay. The find at Mount Ebal is that we do find an altar there that dates to around the period of Ramses II. A little later than Ramses II, we find a scarab, two Ramesside period scarabs there. One has the name of Thutmose III, the other has the name of Ramses II, but both are done in Dynasty 19 style. So, you know, with the Thutmose III, it'd be kind of like finding a cell phone with a sticker of Elvis on it. You don't date the cell phone by the sticker. Otherwise, you'd be dating that cell phone to the 1960s. Okay?
But we all know Elvis had a cell phone.
Elvis, of course, is of course, Elvis. But you don't date it by the sticker. You date it by...
Nor is that confirmation that Elvis is alive and well and is walking around and faked his own death. Yeah. Sorry, as much as we'd love that confirmation bias.
So we have here two scarabs that roughly date to Dynasty 19. Okay? We have a pile of bones there that has essentially kosher animals. Sheep, goat, deer. And it's an altar. And all the pottery there is late bronze to be early Iron Age 1. So the site roughly dates to around 1200, 1150 BC. Okay, so it is an important site. It's an important site. It's a site that is very much suggestive of the altar that Joshua built out at Mount Ebal. So it's really good evidence for that. But you also can't use your own presuppositions to confirm a bias either. And this is what ABR has done. is they've taken that Tutmosis III scarab and said, oh, look, Tutmosis III. It's an early Exodus. See, it's an early conquest. Tutmosis III is just before Amenhotep II. So it really dates to Amenhotep II, while ignoring the other data, like the style of that scarab. They're ignoring the cell phone and dating it by the sticker. That's the problem. They're ignoring all the pot shards. There's no late bronze 1 pot shards at Mount Ebal. That's their only point of evidence.
And so getting back to the current find.
Mm-hmm.
A brief summary of why it's questionable.
The reason why it's questionable is, 1, the steel is badly degraded. It is badly degraded. This is not a stela that's clearly written. Very badly degraded. 2, it has a inscription that's remarkably similar to the very last inscription he translated. 3, it's on a stela, which is a place we would not expect a curse formula to be. It'd be very unusual to find a curse formula on a stela.
The equivalent of writing graffiti against the government on a prominent wall in a totalitarian state.
Yeah.
Not usually done.
Yeah. Like right inside Putin's office.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. So, the coincidence, as I said, the coincidence here between the Jerusalem tablet and the Ebal amulet is very, very striking. Okay? We should be very skeptical of this find.
And again, skeptical does not mean that it is wrong.
Yeah.
It just says, don't get your hopes up yet.
Yeah. Definitely do not get your hopes up on either one of these translations at this point.
Yes.
Okay? And this is what I'm promoting here is caution. Okay?
Hence the Manna Machine alert.
Hence the Manna Machine alert.
I know
This is
people
advising,
were really, really excited about the first find of the Mount Ebal tablet, especially the way it was presented.
Yeah.
And this is how people lose their faith.
Yeah, this is how people lose their faith.
They pin their hopes on people,
Yep.
on events,
Yeah.
instead of on gospel message.
And right now we have a lot of people who have a very, very vested interest in not only translating the Ebal amulet and finding a text that may or may not be there, but also have a vested interest in dating it to, say, 1400 BC, which is the early conquest date. The appropriate steps to mitigate confirmation bias are not there.
Which the simple step is somebody who doesn't believe that hasn't examined the evidence.
Yeah.
It hasn't been peer reviewed.
In the case, the two translators that worked on the Ebal tablet, Peter van der Veen, he holds to essentially not only a revised Egyptian chronology, but an early Exodus date. Galil has other concerns, but he's not going to fight his peers here. He's signed on with, say, to go with whatever ABR says, and ABR is very forceful about this. So there's no proper peer review happening.
So your final message to your viewers?
My final message to my viewers is be skeptical about this. Okay? The amulet at Mount Ebal is an important discovery. The translation, however, should be viewed with suspicion. And the fact that it's now been paired with a second curse tablet that is even more suspicious should raise red flags. Okay? So anyway, that's all for this Manna Machine Alert. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on Ancient Egypt and the Bible.